5:30. Let's call this meeting to order. Okay, Vicki, we have roll call.
Commissioner Madrid,
Here.
Commissioner Levitt,
Here.
Commissioner Elliott,
Here.
Joyce Gates. Here. Gilbert Salguero,
Here.
Lisa Spear. Tom Martin,
Here.
Commissioner Render,
Present.
Jamal Williams,
I'm here.
and Michael Koss.
Okay, we have a quorum. Okay, approval of minutes of June 22nd, 2020.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor in a second. Go ahead and vote on it. Everybody that's in favor of it, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, same sign?
Abstain.
Okay. Discussion and action regarding the disc golf course at Hillcrest Park. Teddy, is that you, Teddy?
Thank you.
He's basically just an installment.
Thank you.
No use the old ones, which it'd be easy to remove if it didn't work.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Good, how are you?
Little cross, a couple fair ones. More and more, yeah. I got it.
All right. Hi, I'm Teddy Guevara, and I came before y'all today to propose a disc golf course at Hillcrest Park. As you can see on the map, it's located on the east side near the pond. We played it at different times throughout the week and feel this is a safe layout for all park goers. The other great thing is that this is a no-cost project. We have 9 previous baskets from a course at Ned Hauk, and the signage is already paid for. If we wanted to invest in concrete tee pads, that would be around a $2,000 cost, but it is not necessary at this time. And so with that, I leave it to the committee for any questions or concerns. Thank you.
I'm trying to get myself oriented here.
That's fine.
Chairman?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, Teddy, the 1, 2, and 3, that's where you tee off or where you throw your disc?
Yes.
And the other dot is where the basket's gonna be? Okay, looks like we've got, what, 2 or 3 of them that will be on the golf course on the par 3, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's number 5, and let's see, I guess 7 or 8. So what is there, 3 of them there that would be in, use the golf course?
Yes, sir. I tried to also play with the same direction as the ball golfers would play. So in case we do get in while they're playing, it just rotates as
okay.
they rotate.
Okay. I know we were always concerned about somebody getting hit with a golf ball or somebody getting hit with a disc or something like that. So, okay, that's all I need to know.
Any other questions?
Yes. So you said you've played it before. The walkers that we have out there, has there been any issues? Have they been out there while you've played?
We have played heads up. We wait for walkers to pass. In signage and everything, that will be addressed, as in patrons, walkers have, how do you say, first way. And so other than that, we really haven't had any problems throwing or anything. A couple stray discs, but other than that, you yell a little 4 and they see them and just passes them by, so.
Okay. And then one more question. How many members do you have of your disc club?
So the Clovis Disc Golf Club has paid members this year, 32, I believe. And we've had kind of a short season because of all this, so.
Okay. You said paid members. What is the membership fee?
$30 is the membership fee. You get a tag, a T-shirt, and a towel.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Teddy.
No problem.
Any other questions?
Chairman, I'd like to ask, how do you market or advertise this? Do you guys have a Facebook club? Would you be partnering with the city in marketing it?
So there is a Facebook page for the club. So much with marketing this year, kind of we slowed that down trying to do that, but we want to hold events and such, and I would hope to sit with the the City of Commerce and see if we can get something going with them. That's about it.
Great, thank you.
Any other question?
Is this in replace of the one that was proposed for the Circle of Trees?
So we would like to do Hillcrest because that's the most central park in Clovis. The Circle of Trees, I mean, that could, definitely be a future 10-year plan, but it's not kind of coinciding with that. If this doesn't go through, then we definitely would like to look at the Circle of Trees as an option.
Chairman,
Go ahead.
if you don't mind me asking, Mr. Dayhoff, you reviewed this. Do you have any concerns, or can I get your input on this?
Sure. I have viewed it. I don't see any conflicts with the golfers or walkers. Most of your disc golf courses in other cities, and maybe I shouldn't say most, a lot of them are intertwined with walking systems. So I don't really see a conflict with his. He did a great job laying it out to where it wouldn't conflict with golfers and walkers.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a question.
Mr. Chairman,
How's-
I've got a comment. I don't see anything that would be a problem.
Okay. How's that going to affect that Ned-Hawk Park course out there?
So this course is really based on a beginner intermediate player, as Ned Hauk is more an intermediate advanced player. And the reason we're trying to do that is the youth and such can easily come to Hillcrest instead of Ned Hauk. Ned Hauk is a pretty far park, and so that's really why we wanted to put a new disc golf course at Hillcrest for that reason. So I don't think it'll affect the playership of either one, but.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Yeah.
And if you lived in Albuquerque or Phoenix or somewhere, Ned-Hawk Park would be pretty close. Okay, any other questions?
And Mr. Chairman, if I may, in regards to marketing the course, it's just something that we would show as another amenity that we have available at our parks. So it's just like we advertise for the par 3 or for the splash pad, it'd just be another amenity that we feature on our website.
Let me ask you one more question. You mentioned $2,000 for the pads.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys going to pay for it later on?
If that's what we can do, then yes.
Okay. Okay, this is an action item, so.
It is an action item? Well, I propose that we do. I would propose that we.
Okay, we
I'll
have a
second
motion
it.
on the floor.
Second.
And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Okay, you got it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Appreciate
Thanks, Teddy.
everyone.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to seeing it used.
I'm so excited. And thank you all so much, really.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Teddy, if I
Thank you,
can
Teddy.
just interject, I know the disc golfers have been working on this for years, and I appreciate all the hard work and the dedication and certainly the perseverance. So I wish you guys well. Hope it works out.
Okay, next, update regarding trees at Hillcrest and area parks. Mark Dayhoff.
Thank you, Chairman. Our main focus is the trees at Hillcrest Park, specifically the old golf course area. As most of you know, the majority of the trees over there are old Siberian elm trees that are probably, I figure they're over 80 years old. So they're getting towards the end of their lifespan.
Not all people approaching 80 are. I just want to interject that. Sorry.
Thank you.
Fortunately, we were able to have all the trees pruned a couple of years ago, which definitely made a big difference, removing the low-hanging branches and the dead limbs in the trees. But unfortunately, we are losing several every year. In fact, we have approximately 15 out there right now that are dead that we'll be removing soon. And we'll be doing that this winter, and of course, stump grinding. But we're looking at replanting trees in that area, beginning that this winter. And the problem in the past is most of those trees are along the edge of the fairway or in the rough of the old course. And the irrigation system there's just less water that hits them. And so that has presented a problem, because when you plant a tree, you really need to saturate them the first year or two to give them a good start. So, but we're going to look at doing that this winter. We have replaced several trees over in the old Hillcrest area across from the splash park, the entertainment area. And the water over there is much better. To replant trees over in the golf course, we're going to have to trench and run some irrigation lines to them with a drip head or a bubble head to make sure they get adequate water. So, but we're looking forward to start a replanting plan for that area. The zoo, of course, we have the same thing. We have a lot of older Siberian elm trees over there. Luckily, we haven't lost as many in the zoo area, so, but we will probably start replanting trees over there as well in the future. Do you have a question?
What trees are you planning on? Is it still the elms, or are you going to go with something else? What trees?
No, and that's one thing you want to look at. If you look at that area, that's probably the best example of what not to do.
Right.
Is plant all of one species at the same time. So no, we're going to put a mixture of trees. We have oak, locust, willow. We have, I'm trying to think what we have over in the tree farm. I believe they're locusts and something else. I can't think of it right now. But we'll have a variety of species that we'll be planting. And good question, though. And then our other concern is Ned Houck Park. It's saturated with Siberian elms also. Unfortunately, we hadn't been able to get to those. There's 2 parks out there. We hadn't been able to get to those parks yet to get the tree pruning completed. Hopefully, in the next year or so, we'll be able to get those parks trimmed, because they do need it badly. I'm not sure those trees are as old as Hillcrest, but they're old. They're at least 60 years old out there. The rest of our parks are in pretty good shape, have pretty good tree inventory. We have a variety of species and different age trees in the majority of the rest of the parks, so we're in pretty good shape there. So we're looking forward to starting the replanting process, so the tree replacement program, and hopefully we can get a good start on that this winter. Any questions? I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions?
Chairman, I have one. Are we just cutting down the ones that are already dead, or are we planning on cutting any that are still alive?
No, only the dead ones.
Okay, great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we'll squeeze as much life out of them as possible.
Great, okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Update regarding proposed plan to interconnect parks. Justin Holwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This is a project that I've actually been working on with Mitch Gray with the Healthy Kids Initiative for many, many years. And just recently pulled in Lisa with the Main Street program to see how we could bring Main Street into part of this project. If you'll take a look up at the screen here, that's Bob Spencer Park, and what we're trying to do with this program is interconnect all of our parks through a walking trail system. So, as you know, Bob Spencer's in the northwest part of town, and then there's Lee Belt Channel that hopefully my IT department can scroll to the southeast for me. That goes this direction where the pointer is, so I'm doing my best to hold my hand steady there. And so our thought process being is that we could build a trail system within this drainage area. Of course, we'll engineer it, design it, and get it up out of the water, et cetera, and potentially use the alleyway as part of that, to then be able to lead Bob Spencer Park down to the southeast to Green Acres Park. So if we go to Green Acres Park, please. Well, once at Green Acres Park, what we'd look at doing is the trail system within the park itself currently is only a 4-foot wide sidewalk. That's not real conducive to multiple people walking the trail system in opposite directions, et cetera, at the time. So what we would look to do is to widen that trail out to an 8-foot wide trail. And then we'd have that interconnection between Bob Spencer Park as well as to Green Acres Park. Well, we explored the idea even further, saying, well, how could we get individuals to Hillcrest Park if they wanted to? So the thought process there would be then be able to lead through wayfind signing. They could go south down Main Street to 7th Street, which then ties into our Main Street district. And so if a family or somebody out and about wanted to go from Bob Spencer, we would now have a way for them to get from Bob Spencer down to our Main Street district. Once we got to 7th Street, then, of course, we're making the roadway improvements to 7th Street in various phases. That also includes sidewalks and bike lanes. And so then if an individual wanted to go from the Main Street district east to Hillcrest Park, we'd also have that interconnectivity available to them. And so through this time, obviously through sidewalks and bike lanes as well as wayfinding signage. And of course, that leads to our trail system there at Hillcrest Park, in which they would be able to utilize. Once we get to Hillcrest Park, they need to keep going to the east there. You're up to the east. There you go. So obviously, once we're at Hillcrest Park, we started looking at the overlay out of other recreation facilities in the area. And further on East Street, east on 7th Street, as you're all aware, is CCC and the trail system that they've developed there at CCC. So the thought of, Healthy Kids Initiative and trying to create an environment for people to get out and utilize our trail systems is to make that interconnectivity. This is just a project that, like I said, we've internally been working on. We applied actually for grant funding several years ago. Unfortunately, we didn't receive it at the time. It's a project that we thought about for the Economic Development Department's grant that was recently put out, but we applied for the Education Center at Goodwin Playa. This is a project that we could see fitting into grant requests similar to that in the future. So just kind of wanted to bring it to the board, it hasn't been out in the forefront much, but bring it to your attention and let you know that this is another one of those projects that we're working on within our Parks Department as well. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions? What about Chavez Park? You going to interconnect that one or not?
It was not in the original plan, but we can certainly take a look at it. And the beauty of what we're trying to do and accomplish here is, from an infrastructure standpoint, it really doesn't take a whole lot of infrastructure and capital improvements to make. Once we figure out the layout and if expanded layout, it's a matter of trying to get the signage in place. And so a lot of that we can apply for through grant funding and then install it in-house. We would want to make the wayfinding signs unique to that particular system. That way it all ties it together, and that way it would stand out versus our other ordinary road signs. But it certainly would look at, if we are going through residential areas, we'd want to put people down pathways that are safe, first off, and try to get from point A to point B.
What was the cost of that original plan? You
We
remember?
haven't put a total cost on it yet because it's expanded. When we applied for the grant funds, it was back in 2010 timeframe when we originally applied for those grant funds. And I'm not as old as a Siberian elm, but my memory does not go back that far.
Any questions?
Speak for yourself. Ms.
Chairman, if I may add, I just wanted to say one of the good things about what we were wanting to do with the branding the signs together and having a unique design to the signs was then encourage people to get out and walk and realize that things were closer than what they thought they were. So being able to say on the residential, in a sign in a residential area is, did you know that it's this far, 2.3 miles or 2/3 miles or whatever to the nearest fishing hole? Did you know that it's 0.7 miles to the closest brewery? Did you know that it's this close to a grocery store? Something so people realize that it's worth walking, that you don't just have to drive everywhere in town, and that there's walking trails and access and hopefully biking opportunities. So people know that it's we can get out and walk. We don't just have to drive everywhere. So.
Thank you, Lisa.
Mr. Chairman?
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
If I can, actually, I like that idea, Lisa. I think that's a good idea. And then on the, what do you do when you come to an intersection? I assume you're not going to have bridges over?
No.
Will there be any, you're going to cross streets along the way, right?
Correct, absolutely. And of course, when we have major roadway intersection crossings, we'll develop the path system to where it's at a signal, to where they can
Okay,
safely cross.
Good, okay. Because I've tried to cross down at the roundabout.
No.
And, yeah, that doesn't work.
Look both ways.
Yeah, it's like playing Frogger.
All four ways. Okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Well, Tom, if you go down to the light on Prince and then go down and then come around.
Yeah,
And you can get
thanks.
around.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Lisa, are you going to have the mileage on that one?
Some yes, some no.
It's probably 2 miles.
Mr. Chair?
Any other questions? Go ahead, Jamal.
I'll say, can we consider adding Potter's Park? We can go south. There's already a bike trail close to Spencer. You can go south down to 7th Street, down Martin Luther King, and all the way down 7th, and we can go all the way down and include Potter Park in that.
Absolutely, and that's something that, like I said, it's a program that we can continue to build on and develop. When we originally started, so back in 2010, the thought, it kind of spurred because of the hospital and the location of the hospital, PRMC, to Bob Spencer. The hospital has the walking path around it now, so that's kind of what, it's like, hey, this would be cool to be able to connect all these walking paths that are at various locations throughout the city. But yes, we can certainly develop and continue to look at it's just a matter of putting out signage.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Holwalt. Update regarding shooting range. Justin Holwalt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Just wanted to quickly give you a quick update on the shooting range. We have sent the notice of intent to Duke City Builders out of Albuquerque. We are working with them on the contracts. They're currently out securing their required bonds for the project. So as soon as we get the contracts back and the bonds back, we will get with them to put together the schedule, get the pre-construction meeting scheduled, as well as we're going to work on a groundbreaking ceremony. So just wanted to give you a quick update where we are in the process. That way, if you have anybody asking where we might be, it is still moving forward. Just working with the contract to get those required contracts in place. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Next, for the good of the order. I want to ask you something right quick. How are the lights on Potter's Park coming along?
Dang it, this one.
The lights?
So we received capital outlay funding at the last legislative session for those. They were not in this last bond sale from the state. So we have not received contracts for those yet. We also have not received contracts for our playground equipment or for the parking lot improvements. And so once the state gets to their next bond sale, hopefully we will receive those contracts and be able to start moving forward with those projects.
Okay, thank you. Okay, update on projects. Mark, day off.
Thank you, Chairman. We don't have a lot of projects going on currently. Two Horse Construction did complete painting the large shelter that we added to Hillcrest last year. You can't see Chevron on the side of it now, so that's a good thing. The Cut It Right is supposed to be starting some tree pruning for us at Highland Park around the girls' softball field. There's quite a few old elm trees around there. And whatever we have left on their service, we're planning on sending them out to net out to kind of hit the most hazardous branches. So hopefully they'll get started here pretty quick. Other than that, yeah, I don't really have anything.
Claire?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Parks Board. We have scheduled the fall cleanup using COVID-safe practices on October the 24th from 8 until noon. We won't be having the breakfast or the lunch, but we will be doing a raffle for pizzas and other things to sort of keep folk moving throughout the morning. So everyone will separate out to go and clean up. It's been approved by the state police for us to hold the event in this format, so we'll be doing that. So please come and join us. If you want to sign up, let Vicky or Tabitha know. If anybody in the viewing audience has a team that they would like to participate in that would be great. And then the other thing, we have a new marketing, communications and grant coordinator for the City of Clovis. Her name is Kelsey Knight. She's a Clovis native and she's just returned to the area. She has a master's in communications, so we're very much looking forward to working with Kelsey. One of the things that we are also, Ruth Ann is going to continue on and work with us on grants, and Ruth Ann wrote a grant for us just a few short weeks ago with the Economic Development Project, Development Department, and this is for a Playa Education classroom at the Goodwin Lake Playa, something we've been looking at doing for many years. So we've applied for funding from the state for the Special Projects and Infrastructure Fund that they had a grant for. It's up to $25,000, so we've applied for that. Just waiting to hear. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Any questions for Claire?
Chairman, I would like to mention one other thing. The bathroom at Hillcrest Park was vandalized this last week, and it will be shut down for some time. They really did some pretty good damage in it, so just wanted to give everybody a heads up. If you receive a call, that bathroom is going to be locked up until we can get it ready for use.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Chairman? Yes. Justin, any word on the damage that was done to the greens at the golf course?
No, our agronomist is supposed to be coming in town today, and so as far as the extent of the damage and them being able to recover, I don't have any new information on that.
We don't know if that can be repaired or have to be replaced or what?
I'm not sure at this point. Yeah. So once the agronomist gets in and is able to take a look at them, but they are definitely dying in areas that there's a pattern to, so.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask what damage we're referring to on the golf course?
Yeah, certainly. So out at Colonial Park Golf Course, holes number 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 have apparently been sprayed with potentially Roundup and in areas of them, and so it's killing the greens back.
Ooh, bummer.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned earlier, our agronomist who works with our management company out there is coming into town this week to take a look at them and see if it's something that through fertilization and water would be able to recover, or if it's something that we're going to have to potentially patch and grow new grass in those areas.
Thank you, Mr. Holwell. Anything else?
Mr. Chairman, if I might, I just wanted to notify the committee that Mr. Holwalt and I and Clovis Main Street have been working on the new design for where the ice house was. As you guys know, many of our commissioners were where we purchased the ice house, Cheapo's Depot building with capital outlay funding. And we're working on the design to expand the current railroad park and parking spaces available and clean up the beautification of that street area. And I just really want to thank Mr. Howell and Mrs. Burrows and the city for their help with remediation of that property. They were able to go in and tear down that building, and it's made a phenomenal difference. That was through funding that we received through capital outlay, through our local legislators, Mr. Crowder, and our additional legislators supported that as well too. And it's just made a huge imprint already to that area to clean it up, and we're excited to see what it's going to become. So if anybody would like any input or any information on what we're doing with that park space, I would be happy to email you guys the design that we're at this current time.
Thank you, Lisa. What about the cars that are parked around that area?
Those vehicles are actually parked within city right-of-way, and so as we move forward and continue on with this process, we'll have to work with the company. Presumably, that's on the west side of, on the east side of Mitchell Street there, to relocate those vehicles.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Commissioner Bryant with us. Do you have anything, Commissioner Bryant, that you might bring up?
Just here to listen. Thank you.
Okay. So any other questions? For the go to the order. I mean, next meeting date. Sorry. Next meeting date.
Oh, yes. Mr. Chairman, members of the Parks Board, because of the COVID safe practices and the need to use the North Annex for our meetings now, our meeting scheduled for October falls on the same date as the library board meeting. So I was wondering if you would like to meet, which is the 26th of October. So I'm just wondering if you'd like to move that meeting to the 19th, if that would be convenient for you.
I don't have a problem with that. Does anybody else have a problem with it?
No.
19th would be good.
Library board meet monthly? Quarterly.
Thank you.
And just for the or for your information, the library board only meets quarterly, so we would run into this situation in the future, but it's not going to be every month.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Anything else? Anybody wants to bring up? I'm pretty quiet today, Rube. What's the problem?
Is the library board the same as the library board?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I guess we stand adjourned.
I'm laughing, but you
Thank you.